The CBO reported that we will be adding about $1 trillion to deficit spending. That means $1 trillion to our debt, are already $20 trillion, $21 trillion. The question is, what are we doing about it? The answer is nothing. The question is, are we planning? Are we talking about it? The answer to that is no. Are politicians concerned, worried? Are they going to do something about it? Are we taking steps, measures? Are we passing legislation? Are we working on legislation? No. We should at least be talking about it, right? Well, we'll talk about it next year. You can count on it because it's an election year. Everybody will be talking about it next year. Every congressman running for office, probably. Every senator running for office. And all the presidential candidates will talk about it in some way, shape, or form. Talking about it is not a problem. The problem is Congress believes that talking is work. They think talking is doing something. They really believe that. I'm not being facetious. They really do believe that. Talking is what you do to plan leading up to the work. Talking in and of itself is not working unless, of course, you're a politician. So they will be talking about it, and then they won't talk about it again. Well, in the House of Representatives, they'll talk about it again in 2 years because they come up for re-election again in 2 years. Remember, we've got a Washington, D.C. that is dysfunctional. And all of a sudden, if we think that some way somebody is going to wave a magic wand and all of a sudden politicians and Capitol Hill is going to become a functional part of government, that's comical at best. Washington has a very specific reason why it's dysfunction. I've said this before. Dysfunction is the effect of the cause. Well, what's the cause? And that's what we got to focus on, is the cause. And when we look at, yes, we've got cause and effect. The effect is dysfunction, but we can't focus on the cause because there's little we can do about the cause. That's why we're always going to be dysfunctional. Oh, maybe there's a chance that there's a war or a major terrorist event, God forbid, on either one of those that could unite the people. But the real cause of dysfunction in Washington is there is none. Zippo, no leadership in Washington. And the effect of that is dysfunction. We have no leadership, but we have the worst kind of no leadership that any corporation, small business, individual could ever witness. We have no leadership, yes, but the problem is we have a bunch of men and women in Washington that believe that because they're in the position of leadership, that they're leaders. So now you've got dysfunction because there's no leadership, and the people we're depending on leading think that they are good leaders because they're in that position of leadership. So how do we fix that when we don't really have a willingness to see it fixed? See, it's okay because we can just keep talking about the problem. We don't really have to fix it. But there will be a day that we're going to have to fix it. But the thing that I talked about, a tragic event or an event that is going to get us to a place of unity and fixing, unfortunately, is going to be too late for anybody to avoid the misery that is going to come from that. Hey, I want to thank you for watching the clip. We sure do appreciate it. Would you go right now, click on that subscribe button if you haven't already. That helps us. We would appreciate it. Thanks again.